Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I have some of the latest updates on Sheikh Hamdan and his family that I'm sure you'll find very interesting. If you've been following my channel, you know I always keep you updated with the most recent developments in Sheikh Hamdan's life and his relationships. So make sure you stick around for all the details. Before we get started, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss any updates on this topic. Now, let's dive into the story. In my last video, I mentioned that Sheikh Hamdan has been feeling quite depressed lately. He's been facing a lot of pressure from those around him, especially his father, Sheikh Mohammed. It seems everyone has their own expectations of him, and this is weighing heavily on Sheikh Hamdan's shoulders. The most significant pressure he faces right now is about his relationship with Sheikha Thani. As many of you know, Sheikh Hamdan and Sheikha Thani have a complicated relationship, and it's one of the main sources of his emotional struggle. Let's start by discussing the current situation between Sheikh Hamdan, Sheikha Thani, and Sheikh Mohammed. Sheikh Mohammed, as a traditional leader and a loving father, wants Sheikh Hamdan to bring Sheikha Thani back to the palace and live with her, to restore the family dynamics. Sheikha Thani is the mother of his son, little Mohammed. And Sheikh Mohammed believes that for the sake of their child, Sheikh Hamdan should reconcile with her. But here's where it gets tricky. Sheikh Hamdan's heart is torn between Sheikha Thani and his ex-wife, Hadia Zen. Although his father is pushing him to be with Sheikha Thani, Sheikh Hamdan is still deeply affected by Hadia's conditions for their potential reunion. This brings Sheikh Hamdan into a dilemma. He cannot make everyone happy. Even if he were to fulfill most of Hadia's conditions, one condition he simply cannot meet is divorcing Sheikha Thani and removing their son, little Mohammed, from the palace. It's a tough position for Sheikh Hamdan. On one hand, there is his duty as a father to little Mohammed, and on the other, his unresolved feelings for Hadia. No matter what he chooses, someone will be hurt, and that's what's making this decision so painful for him. Another layer of complexity in this situation is Sheikh Hamdan's relationship with Shamma al-Falasi. As I've shared in previous videos, Shamma has been a significant part of Sheikh Hamdan's life. However, recently, Shamma made a difficult decision, one that has left Sheikh Hamdan even more heartbroken. Just a few days ago, Sheikh Hamdan reached out to Shamma with a phone call. It was during this call that things took an emotional turn. Shamma told him something that he didn't expect. She asked him not to worry about her emotions and to focus on doing the right thing. She urged Sheikh Hamdan to make the best decision for his children and for himself. She even told him that if he truly loves Hadia and feels complete with her and their children, then he should reunite with Hadia and remarry her. This left Sheikh Hamdan completely speechless. He didn't know how to respond, and for a moment, he was just silent. Shama, sensing his hesitation, continued by saying something incredibly selfless. "Your happiness is more important to me than anything else." And then came the part that truly revealed her deep love and selflessness. Shama told Sheikh Hamdan that in this situation, someone had to take a step back, and she was willing to be that person. Can you imagine how difficult that must have been for her? To offer to step aside from someone she loves so deeply, just so he can find his own happiness. Sheikh Hamdan was devastated. He knew that Shama is one of the most valuable people in his life, and now he was faced with the prospect of losing her. She's always been kind, honest, and loving toward him, and her willingness to sacrifice her own feelings for his happiness only made the situation more heartbreaking. During that call, Sheikh Hamdan heard her trying to hide her tears. He wanted to say something, but before he could, Shama cut the call. And with that, the conversation ended on a note of sadness and uncertainty. After the call, Sheikh Hamdan was more heartbroken than ever. He knows Shama well enough to understand that she doesn't say things without thinking them through. Her words are always filled with deep meaning, and this time was no different. Shama's decision to step back wasn't impulsive. It was something she had thought about deeply, and it left Sheikh Hamdan feeling lost and unsure of what to do next. But then things took another emotional turn on the 21st of September, 2024. Sheikh Mohammed, Sheikh Hamdan's father, fell seriously ill and had to be hospitalized. This was a very worrying time for Sheikh Hamdan and his entire family. His father's health had been deteriorating for a while, but this time it was more serious than before. Sheikh Hamdan stayed by his father's side throughout the night, unable to sleep. His mind was filled with worry and sadness as the reality of his father's condition hit him hard. In the middle of all this, Shama called Sheikh Hamdan to comfort him. Despite everything that had happened between them, Shama showed up as a true friend, offering him support when he needed it the most. This gesture touched Sheikh Hamdan deeply. Even after stepping back, Shama continued to be there for him in his time of need. Luckily, Sheikh Mohammed's condition improved, and he was discharged the next day. Sheikh Hamdan was relieved to see his father recovering, but the whole experience left him reflecting on the people in his life. Through these difficult moments, he realized just how much Shama cares about him and how selfless she truly is. She loves him so deeply that she's willing to sacrifice her own happiness for his, and that's something that Sheikh Hamdan can never take lightly. As of now, Sheikh Hamdan is still struggling to make a decision. He knows that Hadia, his ex-wife, needs to accept Sheikha Thani and her son, little Muhammad, if there's any hope of reconciliation. However, it's clear that Hadia has strong feelings about both Sheikha Thani and Shamma. She doesn't want either of them to be involved with Sheikh Hamdan, and that's a big issue. If Sheikh Hamdan decides to reunite with Hadia and her children, Shamma has made it clear that she will leave, not because she doesn't love Sheikh Hamdan, but because she wants him to find peace and happiness, even if it means letting go of her own desires. Shamma is ready to walk away from everything, not because she doesn't care, but because she cares too much. Her love for Sheikh Hamdan is unconditional, and that's why she's willing to make this ultimate sacrifice. But what about Sheikha Thani? Well, she's going to stay in Sheikh Hamdan's life regardless of what happens. Even though Sheikh Hamdan and Sheikha Thani no longer have a romantic or physical connection, they are still connected through their son, little Muhammad. That bond will always be there, and it's something that Sheikh Hamdan cannot and will not break. The question now is whether Hadia can accept this arrangement. Can she come to terms with the fact that Sheikha Thani and little Muhammad will remain in Sheikh Hamdan's life, even if there's no romantic relationship between him and Sheikha Thani? That's something we'll have to wait and see. So there you have it. These are the latest updates on Sheikh Hamdan and his family. It's a complicated and emotional situation for everyone involved, but one thing is clear. Sheikh Hamdan has some difficult decisions to make in the near future. Will he reunite with Hadia and her children, or will he choose to stay connected to Shamma, who loves him deeply but is ready to walk away for his happiness? And how will all of this affect little Muhammad and Sheikha Thani? There's a lot to consider, and I'll be sure to keep you updated on any new developments. If you enjoyed this video and want to stay in the loop with all the latest news about Sheikh Hamdan and his family, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. That way you won't miss any of my future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.